Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Sunday morning, November 29th. And you can see temperatures this morning in the upper 20s around 30, so not a bad day. And we had lows mainly in the low to mid 20s across the area, which was pretty close to normal. No precipitation across the region. We have a couple of really nice days on tap as we see temperatures give or take a couple of degrees from 40, so it'll be a pretty normal type couple of days. And if we look at this morning's weather shot, you can see a very frosty morning across the area today. And if we look at the radar across the region, you can see precipitation off to our south and southwest. That'll remain there over the next couple of days as high pressure will protect us and dry up any moisture that tries to come into the area, at least until we get into Monday night. If we take a look at the forecast map for 1 o'clock today, you can see low pressure systems across the southwest and across the Tennessee Valley. Again, those will be moving off to the east, and eventually this system will affect us as we get into Monday night through about early Wednesday, first with some rain showers. And then I think we turn over to a little bit of snow on the backside of that as cold air filters in. And you can see by 7 a.m. on Tuesday morning, you can see the low pressure will be moving into Minnesota, heading off to the northeast. It'll pull that moisture northward. And again, a pretty decent chance of showers. Again, I think mainly amounts around between 2/10 to as much as maybe 5/10 or 6/10. But again, this won't be a very big system. And again, after that pulls out of the area, we expect improving conditions for Thursday, Friday of next week, when we could see temperatures into the 40s with dry conditions possibly lasting right in through next weekend. If you take a look at the GFS forecast and precipitation amounts, you can see the heaviest amounts are forecasted to be across the northwestern sections of the MAC area and back into the UP and Wisconsin or to Minnesota and Iowa, and lesser amounts as you head towards southeast Michigan into southwest Ontario. If we look at the WPC, however, they're taking some of the guidance from the Canadian European models, and they're giving that pretty good strip of moisture across much of the MAC area. They're forecasting pretty much around 3 to as much as 6/10 of an inch. So again, pretty similar, not a big system, but certainly we will see rain out of this, and we'll probably see some snow showers on the back side of it or snow flurries. If we take a look at the latest sea surface temperatures, you can see for the week, you can see the warmest concentration of the sea surface temperatures, the anomalies versus normal, is out in the INSO or out into the INSO 3-4 versus 1-2. A very warm pattern here, like we found in 1997 off the South American coast, extended to the west, would indicate a warm, very warm signal for the U.S. But with the waters warmer compared to normal out into the Central Pacific, that is a little bit cooler signature, along with warm waters from the Gulf of Alaska down to Baja California, and also different from 1997 as we have more warm water now up into the North Atlantic off the U.S. coast versus very cold temperatures in 1997. And we had very cold waters off the Pacific West Coast into the Gulf of Alaska with the 1997 and the 1982 El Nino event. So this is a little bit colder signature. Eventually, we're going to see the big upper driving ridge across the southern part of Canada begin, I think, to move to the northwest. That's going to allow troughing and storm tracks underneath this to become more prevalent, especially as we get deeper into the winter. Now looks like we could see a fairly active and cool January as well. Still looks like a pretty mild December coming up, and we'll have that forecast here later next week. And you can see, as far as the Southern Oscillation Index, you can see the daily contributions were crashing again. But look at the El Nino levels, the SOI levels back as we began the month of November at -21. We are now, for the last 30-day averages, just around -3, which is a neutral event. And we were at the Super Nino event. But again, as these begin to crash, we'll see the El Nino kind of return again. But eventually, we're going to go into a La Nina. And we're going to see the Pacific cool quite a bit. We're going to have lots of warmth in the Atlantic, and it could be a pretty active hurricane season over the next couple of years in the Atlantic Basin. But again, with these crashes now well below the base, 30-day base, that's going to trigger some action in the atmosphere. And eventually, I think we're going to see a lot of troughing develop across the central and eastern U.S. in about 10 days. So it's going to be pretty benign and boring here over the next 10 days, but I think things really get into gear as we approach around the 10th of December or so, give or take a couple of days. We could start to see more significant storms that could affect the Midwest and the MAC area. And with that strong El Nino and the weakening of it, we've had nothing but mild temperatures that signal as we began to go a little bit more positive as far as daily contributions. Means you usually have a lot of ridging and warmth across the eastern U.S. and you can see we're so far plus 5.4 degrees per day above average for November, but we do expect a little bit cooler, more active pattern to begin here once we get around the 10th of December. Thanks for stopping by and have a great Sunday, and 73s to all.